guys, welcome to a new video. This is Zach from Big Bang Crypto. In this video we'll be going over the charts. I'll be giving you guys a quick update on what I'm thinking about the price action and the price movements that we're seeing right now in the market. Also, we will set some price levels for our tables, so you guys have your trading software preloaded with some tables. We'll be going over the tables and setting some basically activation levels, so support and resistance levels. It's very simple. It shouldn't take long. If we have some time left, we might go into making new agents based on some strategies that we come up with, but most probably we'll keep it to setting some levels in this video. And one of the suggestions that came from Discord was that we should do another live stream account. And we've done this before on Twitch, where we tried to keep the live stream up 24/7. Didn't really go as planned. There were loads of days that we had like downtime, but overall we did a live stream where the account was like you could get into this Twitch live stream and you could request which interface you wanted to see. So it was pretty cool, but not a lot of viewers. So we might do that again. I'll start off by just well, basically, I'll start off by just creating an account and setting up tables together based on an account balance of $500. So if you guys want to follow along with that, you can do that. I'll try to do daily updates and come up with new price levels and agents. But please bring in your own ideas as well. Try to modify the agents, which I'll be showing you in this video, how you can modify them, how you can simply set your own support and resistance levels. You don't have to modify everything. You don't have to create all new agents for now, but start right away with setting your own support and resistance levels and maybe changing the amounts according to what capital you are trading on Bybit currently. So let's get into the technical analysis. Or actually, let's start with one of the issues we're seeing. Some of the users are experiencing some issues with their user interface being very slow. Now we know that our application is very CPU intensive. It does a lot of things at the same time, kind of. So this makes it very intense for the CPU. So try to get the bot running on a computer with a decent CPU. This will get you the best results and best experience. Of course, we will be trying to get it as lightweight as possible, although currently it's just also doing a lot of things, so it will take us a little bit of time to make the application somewhat more user-friendly. But for now, try to run it on a decent CPU, and besides that, for the user interface, try to use Firefox instead of Mozilla. Okay, we've noticed a huge difference in the performance if you use Firefox. So we prefer if you use Firefox, otherwise your user interface is overloaded too quickly. Okay, the bot works perfectly fine on pretty much any computer, though it's only the user interface receiving all the candle data, because in one day we're completing, for example, hundreds of trades, which is a lot of data to input in our chart. So we're working on improving that, but for now use Mozilla Firefox. That's just a side note. Let's get into some of the technical analysis. Let's have a look at the chart and see what we're working with. So I just drew these up before because well, on a lot of altcoins, I'm actually noticing that Coinbase is actually the one that's moving the price and making the market, basically. So I prefer doing my TA on Coinbase recently. Also, what you can see is that the technical analysis and everything is just more respected on Coinbase. So yeah, we saw, for example, this fake out here into that huge dump, basically back down to the support area, but we also faked out this low here. So it was basically taking out the highs, taking out the lows, and now we're back in the middle of the range. If we go back to our EMAs and VWAP, we see that we're really struggling coming above the VWAP currently. So that's just some very small term technical analysis that we can do. And if we look at it from a little bit of a broader perspective, let's go to, for example, the 6 hourly chart. All right, so if we take a volume profile for this, um, so let's say we're interested in this entire session here. We can see that there is three major order blocks where a lot of Bitcoins have changed hand, basically, a lot of contracts, or yeah, it's Bitcoins on Coinbase. So a lot of Bitcoins have changed hand on these three order blocks. We're currently in the middle of the bigger order block. So basically this was for me all the time a pretty big resistance. We're basically crossing it, and we're inside of the major order block, which basically tells me that anyone who took a short here is in a loss right now and might be in need of a stop loss. So we might have to buy back into the market. So that could fuel up the market a lot. And we see that there is like a surplus, like a area with very little interest right above us. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another rally up, and then I would be looking for these order blocks like right here. I would be most interested around the 50, let's say, where this bigger order block starts, so the 54.6k, 54.5k area. So there is still some upside here left, and let's just also look into some support areas, because yeah, we never know when the retracement comes, and it could be pretty volatile, as you guys have noticed in crypto. So let's just take note of that. So here there the bigger basically volume nodes start. So that would be an interesting area for the bulls to support, which is around 40.5k. And it aligns with the two highs that we had prior, so it would be a pretty nice retest area. Let's pull out a FIB and see what that can give us right now. All right, so no real confluence here, nothing really being confirmed as far of the FIB retracement from that low. So Um, yeah, I would definitely just be looking at a position around the 40.5k when it comes down, and yeah, the rest would be really scalps for now, and I would be waiting for higher up. Right, so if you're not in a position, that's basically the plan I would have, to get yourself into a decent position. This is like not really an area I would be per se interested in. So yeah, the trend for me is still up. Um, that's for first, like that's first and foremost, and I would be looking at shorting around the 54k area. So that's the technical analysis part for on how I do it. But of course, everyone has his own ways of looking at the market, and there's nothing wrong with that. So please do use your own technical analysis if you have your own ideas. I would even prefer you doing that, and I will go into the reasoning behind that right away. So as I told you guys, we have like a database, and every completed trade in our software that our software does is basically recorded is recorded in this system basically. So anytime your software completes a trade, we basically scan this trade, see how good it was compared to other trades, see in what market condition this particular trade has occurred, and then we put that into this system, into our server basically. And currently we've been running the new software for about 2 days, and we have 3.7k, nearly 3.7k completed trades, right? And there is 6 users currently using the 2.1.1 version, right? And we can also look into which agents have received the highest score. And as I told you guys in the last video, the scores are based on how much dollar did we gain from entry to exit, right? So how much profit in dollars did we lock in? Um, and how much risk did we take? So how much was our drawdown, and how much time did it take us to complete this trade? So based on these three metrics, we give our agents a score, and we can basically look in our server and see which agents have received the best score. What we can see right away is that there is well, a lot of agents called long 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right? So there is more longs than shorts that are receiving high scores. Well, that makes a lot of sense because price is going up quite some. Then there is a tip, which is basically a short agent, but this is a child of a certain parent. So that could mean that this with a high offset, but the parent also had a high offset or a higher offset. So yeah, this doesn't tell us an awful lot about this particular agent, so you'd have to see what the parent is like. So why I'm showing you guys this right now is this should show you the importance of giving your agents a certain name and also changing some of the settings, because if you slightly change the names and you slightly change the offset, for example, or the exit multipliers, our database will get a bigger variety of data. And of course, if a certain agent only made one trade, it's not really reliable data. So you'd be looking at, for example, this long 2 agent, which has a score overall, so an average score of 557 over 10 completed trades, and the one above it has 5 completed trades with an average score of 626. So those 2 agents, long 1 and 2, for example, are doing a lot better, in my opinion, and are a lot more reliable for that matter. Right, so this is yeah, this is our database. We track everything, and the more variety you guys can bring in, and the better data you can bring in with your trading, the better it is for all of us, because I'll be sharing all of this with you guys, and I'll be making my tables based on the data that is coming in, right? So we can improve from our data in that regard. So let's continue. We see that we have broken the VWAP. All right, all right. So as I told you guys, I've created an account to trade basically the tables that I'm going to be making. So I've started the bot yesterday, took some stop losses when it was going up too much, but eventually got myself into a decent position. Although we're seeing a lot of upside again, I think it's worth to basically trade this market until we start breaking up, and then maybe cut some losses again to position myself higher up when it starts forming a sideways range again. So yeah, let's set our levels together. So as you guys see, I have a short up here, and I would like to get out of that short, or at least decrease my exposure as much as possible. And for the positioning, like maybe flipping long, I would really be looking at the lows, and maybe not even out. I would be more confident in having a short at this moment, just because we're at such a high price. But I will definitely have to manage my short accordingly. So any breakout, I have to start managing my short position. Right? All right. So I already opened up all the tables. So let me get. All right. So now we've opened our tables. We have to remove this one. So these are the tables that you guys also have preloaded in your bots, which is basically the bear table, the bull table, the long UI, short UI, and sideways. Right. So let's put these three together. These are your two biases. All right. So this is heavily biased to the bearish side. This is heavily biased to the bullish side. Sorry. And this is a sideways table, so it has shorts and longs. This is a long UI, meaning that when you press this, when you turn this particular bot on, it will start placing longs right away without any without any conditions, right? So it will DCA into a long and pretty aggressively. And the same for the short UI, it will DCA into a short pretty aggressively, all right? So to give you guys an indication of these tables, we've of course backtested these on on like tick data, so that's like the most accurate data that you can get. So our backtests are very accurate, and this is the sideways table. So you can see that this is a very bullish trend, and it managed to be profitable. So you don't have to per se know the trend to become profitable because of like the logic in this table, but that also means that it's a pretty complex table, because it kind of is very, no, not kind of, it's very robust, and it can handle nearly any situation as long as you have enough capital to pay for your maximum cumulative drawdown. So this table, this sideways table, basically consists of 213 agents. All of them have their own like little logic behind them on how they enter, and they are also interrelated to each other. So one of these tables is very, very complex and it's a lot of data. That's why you guys have to use so much of your CPU power to run these bots basically. So if your computer cannot handle it, please let me know and I will try to make these tables a little bit like make them a little bit smaller and remove some of the agents, but try to keep the structure the same because as I showed you, these tables have been back tested. So this was the sideways table on a bullish trend. It's profitable. It's slightly losing if it's a very bearish trend, and of course, if it's a sideways trend with a sideways table, it's profitable. And again, if it's going down too much, well, this one was even profitable because this is 400,000 ticks of price movement. So that's a lot of data that we're testing. This is from the 58K levels down to the 46K levels. Mind you, this is the sideways table being profitable in a market that's pretty much dumping, right? And the coolest thing is, this is, for example, the bear table. And of course, if you run a bear table, so your bias is bearish, and you run the bear table without the sideways table, so only the bear table, of course, you have to be profitable. And that's, of course, the case. And you can see below here, and I don't know if you guys can read that, so let me zoom in for you. Of course, all the agents get the scores and all the metrics that we have, but you also get like the total profit and the maximum cumulative drawdown, which is basically how much was your maximum loss at the worst moment, basically. And that's pretty decent for this a mean reversion strategy, right? Because basically that's what we're doing. We're trading mean reversion. And yeah, so if you have a bearish trend, you'll get good results, obviously. But let's say you have a sideways trend and you start only a bearish table, well, it also ends up profitable, right? So that's the cool part. You don't have to per se be right. And if you ask me why is that? Well, for any completed trade, we are receiving rebates. So we're receiving a little bit of commissions from Bybit to put that limit order up. And our system does like in a situation like this, you're doing like 1,000 completed trades probably. So that all adds up, and you can basically see it here. All these rows are individual agents, and some agents have, for example, here have completed 33 trades. So they have done 66 limit orders that have been filled, and you have like hundreds of agents. So yeah, that really adds up. To all the rebates that you're farming. And of course, you're not only farming rebates, you're also locking in most of the times a little bit of profit. So that's yeah, that's the part that makes us profitable, even though our bias might be wrong initially, right? So let's get back to setting levels. Because I explained to you guys there's a lot of agents in these tables. So if you're running into problems with your CPU being not being strong enough, maybe a VPS is a good idea for you. Um, and maybe you can only use a couple tables, so only use the three that you actually want to use instead of loading up five tables at the same time, right? All right, so this is the bear table. So where do we want to start getting bearish? Um, Considering we're basically double topping here and we're breaking the highs. So let's have a look at that. Definitely breaking the highs here. It's looking very strong. So we basically want to set our bulls very aggressive. We want to kind of get out of this short position slowly. Um, is that a good idea? Let me give this a little bit more time, see how this plays out actually. Let me go to the 5 minutes and uh, like well, this is, of course, a very, very bullish move. We took out the highs, then took out the lows, so there is no reason to be very bearish at the moment. The market is basically deciding, and as we saw in the beginning, there is a very, very good reason for us to be kind of expecting some more upside. So yeah, I have to be a little bit cautious here with our short position open, and I have to make the right decision whether I want to start cutting into a loss. So basically, yeah, trying to buy up my contracts as soon as possible. And I think just for the example as well, that's what we're going to set up, right? So I'm not going to restrict any of my long tables and my bullish tables, and I'm only going to restrict my shorts, right? So let's do that before the market pumps even more. So let's get into that. There we go. Here is the table. So the bear tables, yes, we want to restrict those. So let's go to the naming because this tells you what you have to do. So you have to the bear 1 to bear 3. Those are the parents because they have no dots behind them. So we want them to be active above a certain price, right? That's how you basically restrict them to be active at a resistance level. So let's fill in 5400 for now. Okay, that's just the resistance that I saw on the chart and I think might give us a retracement. All right, and by restricting the parents, I've already restricted the children to also wait until we hit 50,400. Right, so I only have to fill in that number on the active above 3 times. And then I go to the big bear. This one has 4 parents and it's a little bit bigger in contract sizes. That's why the name Big Bear. So we set this one to 51,800. Let's see if that actually makes sense because my offsets are about 1K. So if I start shorting at 5,400, I will end up at 51.5, 51.8. So I should put this a little bit higher. I will start this one at 52,500. All right, so after my small bear, I'll start DCAing my big bear parents. Of course, they have some entry limitations, so the conditions, so we should get actually overbought, and then they will start doing the short logic. Okay, so simple. We filled in the restriction levels and we can go over to the bull table, which we said we're not going to restrict any buying if the conditions are met, which basically for these agents is the RSI, or in our case, the TRS of the period 43 going below 40, 30, or 27. Then we get some action, and 21 actually. So we leave that as it is. Then we have the sideways table, which consists of a population of short agents and a bigger population of short agents. So you can basically compare these as the bear and the big bear, and then there is only one big bull. So there is not a small bull. And one of the users asked, like, why is that? Well, that's what we basically found out in the back tests, that that's the optimal way to trade the crypto market. Maybe because of the FOMO traders, that it's worth taking small shorts, but it's not really worth taking the smaller longs. So it's just the back test that's basically shown us this. So we leave the big bulls, we leave them over there because we said we want to buy back our contracts, and we're only going to restrict basically the shorts again. And the first shorts, I will put them, this is the small bears, I'll put them at 50,000. Okay, so we're going to basically form some resistance at 50K. And as you guys might also be thinking, and these will of course be in line with the bear table, and they're pretty much also similar. So you'll see some double orders because like this one will be triggered. No, this one, the 50K resistance one. So these agents will be triggered while the bear smalls are also triggered. So, but because of the amounts being so low, so $1, $2, $3 amounts, it's really not that bad. So I'll keep that as it is, and then I will go to the big bear or the tip parents, and I will restrict those to be active only at 54,000. Oh, that's 5,400. All right, there we go. And I'll do that for both all 4 parents. And we leave the dips, which are bull parents, because they can only buy. And all these can only sell. Sells allowed var, which is in English or the Dutch translation for true. All right, let's go to the long UI. Where do we want to long? Well, let's actually do that a little bit more strategic. So let's say as long as we hit this support level 49,000, oh, it's actually pumping 49,000, we want to start longing. So let's put that in there. For active, actually I'm not restricting any bulls, so I'm leaving this as it is, but I am going to restrict the bear table, and I'm going to basically set it to play this double top, and I'm going to stop it when it breaks out. So 49,470, 49,470, 49 active above 49. Right, so I'm going to activate it upon starting my bot, but as soon as I see that level confidently being broken and maybe even being flipped into support, I will stop this table with these aggressive shorts basically. Right, so I've set my levels for the shorts, and the next thing is that you download these as CSVs and put them in your active table folder. So you replace the ones that are in there right now, which are these guys. So let's do that right away. I will be running the bot from a different computer, so I won't be starting it right now, but I will start it right after this video. So yeah, you just click on download as CSV, and you just basically move them in your active table folder, right? And replace them with the old ones. And as you guys know, you just click run Windows and you start all the tables because you already set your levels. So that's basically how you can set your own levels. That's what I will be doing right now. I'll be starting the tables, keeping you guys up to date. And for everyone watching that's new to our community and our YouTube channel, there will be a link in the description to our community, and I also do daily updates here. So I was already telling the people that, like, guys, we are basically going to go up more. So I also had like a very nice retracement moment. So here I basically told everyone, if you've built up a short, take your loss at around 48.5k. I'm pretty sure that was the actual low at that moment. That was like one of the best retracement you could have closed your short at. So I'm keeping you guys up to date in this community as well. So feel free to join us, and I'll see you guys next time, where we will create new agents based on some strategies that we will create and make up together. So, all right. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.